Welcome to this Operation Greatness Podcast 118. This is part two of the podcast that we did. I recorded it yesterday, which was about the all of us coming together now and stopping the planned July 19th World Cup final attack on humanity and the earth and our sovereignty. So part two, this is about what can I do to stop this planned global attack? How often do people minimize themselves and their power and their contribution and their value and their worth, thinking that they are just one person? Yes, you are one person who is connected with everyone. I mean, like right now, you have the power to lead, inspire, transform, and liberate all your online friends by, for example, leading them into this League of Sovereigns Operation Greatness Podcast 118. So do that. Make sure every one of them is aware of this and taking action and leading everyone connected with them, where you, as one person, are linked to everyone, and you are now sharing this vitally important knowledge, information, guidance, inspiration with everyone connected with you. And you're leading them to taking action on this, doing the work required of every one of us now as we are stopping this planned attack on humanity. So do that. And you're contributing meaningfully in liberating every one of those people you are blessed to be able to serve. And yet, let's look at this even more specifically, because where you give your attention, you are giving your power. That becomes how you are creating your life and how we are creating our world. So, from this moment, if you haven't already begun doing this and mastering this, your power, and living this, make sure that you are hyper vigilant with how you are using your power. You're focusing your power and giving none of it to anything you don't want. You're 100% singular in your focus, in your use of your power, on only what gives you joy, inspires you, and moves you closer to your goals, desires, and dreams. Knowing that with that being 100% of your focus, that's 100% of your life experience. Everything that's happening in your life is aligned with and furthering you in fulfilling your life purpose, your divine design, duty, destiny, dharma. That's how you are living. Your power is sacred because you are sacred, and you're honoring your power, you're honoring yourself, you're living your purpose, and you're treating your power as though it is sacred because it is, absolutely. And you're not squandering it, you're not wasting it, you're not feeding the beast system anymore. So even knowing that this is in process, that this attack, which would be, if it were to pass, if it were to come into fruition, and it's not because we are using our power and we're counteracting this evil, it would have been on the order of magnitude of the whole COVID psyop, fraud, manipulation attack, and the whole thing that came out of that COVID thing, which was the real purpose. as you well know. So let's look at how powerful you are and your power is, and your focused power especially is. Like by you raising your frequency, elevating your consciousness, expanding your power. Do that now and do that again and do that again and raise that even more and elevate that even more right now. So let's think about like a tsunami that's like, let's say it's 1,000 feet high, and that's the power that you are bringing, that you're creating, that you're broadcasting out there, very clearly seeing that all 8 billion of us are healthy, wealthy, sovereign, and free because of me taking my power beyond measure and focusing it on the humanity liberation, on all of us living our greatest lives and creating the world we require. That's like that 1,000-foot tsunami, which is incredibly powerful. I mean, nothing can stand in its way. It just will overwhelm everything before it, in front of it, right? And let's look at, because here's the thing, okay? You as a human are a creator. You are how the world is created. You are creating the world through where you choose to give your thoughts, which is your power. And the forces of, well, they're called, I like how they're called the powers that were, not the powers that be, the powers that were. They were manipulating you to feed your power to them. Their evil, like the shadow, for example, is only caused by an obstruction of the light, right? You remove that obstruction, there is no shadow anymore. Evil is like that shadow. I mean, like, that old saying, like, have you ever seen darkness before? Well, yeah, when I go out at night, it looks dark. Well, there's stars out there, and the coyotes can see very clearly in the desert. And I mean, I can walk at night with just my eyes because there is a lot of light from the stars at night. Cats or dogs don't have trouble seeing, right? So, I mean, there's no such thing as darkness. Or, like, have you ever seen cold before? I mean, other than like absolute Kelvin, I think it's, what is it, 0 degrees Kelvin is supposed to be like the absolute absence of heat. Other than that, there's varying degrees of heat, right? And I mean, the same thing you could say with evil versus good. I mean, anyway, the point is that everything has the spark of God within it, otherwise it wouldn't breathe and be alive, right? So the point is that these forces that were creating the beast system to oppress people and to manipulate them into feeding the beast its power or their power, humans giving the beast their power through manipulation, that's the only power that the beast has. You recognize that, right? Because it's an absolute. There is no, we are creators, and the parasites, all they do is feed off of what power we were giving them. Now, now we're owning our power, commanding our destiny. So feed this none of your power. It's that simple. And make sure that everyone connected with you is owning their power, treating their power and themselves as sacred, and not feeding the beast any of their power either. I mean, like, for example, they call it, the beast calls it the news, and it's really just the fear siphoning And I used to work for the news business. I was in newspapers for 10 years, 6 as a reporter and 4 as assistant managing editor. And I did 3.5 years of radio and about 1.5 years of TV. And I mean, it still stands with me to this day. And this was in the 1990s, maybe even before then. Anyway, I was when like in the first, I think it was when I applied for the job, had my first daily newspaper. It was in Portage, Wisconsin, I think it was. Is that right? Yeah, I believe it's right. Yeah. And yeah, the Portage Daily Register. And the editor, can I remember her name? Vicky? No, I don't remember her name right now. She said that if it bleeds, it leads. So the most horrific, the most tantalizing, titillating, the most scandalous thing is what they lead with in the newspaper to command your attention, to trick you and to seduce you into feeding that thing your power. So stop doing that. It is that simple. Starve the beast of all of its power. It relies on you to feed it through fear. So give none of your attention to the fear siphoning, the fear manipulation, the fear programming called the news. I mean, you're not watching CNN at all or going to CNN.com or MSNBC or CNBC or CBS or ABC or NBC. I mean, the whole mainstream media is the fear programming, right? So give it none of your power, none of your life force. Stop feeding the beast completely. And of course, give none of your power into fear about this July 19th planned attack. No, I mean, like that old saying, one of these days, eventually, when all of us are mastering our power, they will hold a war and no one will show up for it. It's that simple. Give the beast none of your power. Your power is sacred because you are sacred. So treat your power as sacred and use it to fulfill your divine design, duty, destiny, dharma, giving none of it to anything other than that. And make sure that everyone connected with you, which is everyone alive on the planet now, and all those not yet born, are doing the same thing. This is our responsibility to do, to take our power back and use our power to create everything that we desire. Your divine design, duty, destiny, dharma. Live that. Give that 100% of your focus. You're giving that 100% of your power, and nothing outside of that exists in your creation, in your reality, in your life experience. So that's on the one level. And going back to this 1,000 foot tsunami, so if you think of like evil as being like a 5 foot wave against a 1,000 foot tsunami, the 5 foot wave is just dispersed, it's transmuted into the Great Awakening in this case. So we, okay, as organized and methodical as evil was, the globalist death cult, the parasite predators, they call themselves the elites. They're just agents of evil serving the beast. They don't have any power other than what they manipulate us into giving them. Well, stop feeding the beast all of your power or any of your power. Give it none of your power. It's that simple. And so all of us are focusing on the humanity liberation, the simple fact that all 8 billion of us are healthy, wealthy, sovereign, and free because of me. This is my duty, my destiny. And that's where we are creating our lives and how we are creating our world. And the beast is starved and it's impotent. It has no power, no nothing. It's just withering away and dying, crawling back into the hole from whence it came. It is simple, right? A parasite will only feed off of a willing host. And now there's no willing host, and the parasite then has to leave and go somewhere else where it can trick someone into feeding it. It's that simple. And in a practical sense, call or text or email the people you love and make sure that they're aware of this and doing this themselves. And who cares if they think you're crazy or you're just fear mongering or whatever? No, you're offering to save their lives. You love them, you care about them, so you want to make sure that they're not caught off guard by this, and that they're in fact using their power and consciously creating what they want and not feeding the beast themselves, because this is requiring every one of us to be at least as well organized as the beast, the agents of evil, were, right? So, all of us coming together through leagueofsovereigns.com and creating the world we require, where each of us is doing everything we can to lead, inspire, transform, and liberate everyone connected with us. This is humanity coming back together as our human family. This is how we have always been meant to live. But we were seduced, distracted, disempowered, disconnected, divided, discombobulated. And now we're focused again. Now we're owning our power and commanding our destiny. And in a practical sense, you might want to have like an insurance policy. You might want to get yourself like a 3-month supply of food or 6 month or 1 year. You might want to have gold and silver. And I'm not giving you financial advice, of course, because that's still operating under the beast system. And you might want to just have the basic, have water and, just so you have that peace of mind. You don't have to have any competing focus in your or focal points in your mind. It's practical, it's simple, it's methodical, it's logical, because it's about the peace that you have in your mind. It's about the confidence, the presence, the power, your awareness. Move forward, living your life, fulfilling your divine design, duty, destiny, dharma. That is all there is, which is what your life is about. It's how you are here being of service to others. And make sure that everyone all your online friends, are doing this with us all, creating this world that is our purpose, the higher purpose of every one of our lives. It's why we are here on the planet, creating the great awakening. Nothing matters more than all of us doing this together. So, yes, you are one person, your power is beyond measure. You're so much more powerful than you can ever imagine or comprehend. And it only takes one person who is adamant. Look at Jesus. He didn't ask Lazarus, Lazarus, could you please come back into your body? No, he says, arise. He doesn't say, get up. He says, arise. There was 100% certainty, and there's so much. This is the level that we are here to master our lives and to walk. Jesus said himself, all these things that I have done, you will do yourself. And then he challenged us even further by saying, and so much more. This is not just wishful thinking. No, this is Jesus saying, arise. He is saying, you will do so much more than I have done. That's a command. It's not, you have the power to. No, it's, you will do this. So do this. This is your moment to shine. Live this way. Live your life at this level. This is not a request. It's not optional. It's required. It's mandatory. Take it to heart. Live at this level. Arise. There's no question about this. This is who you are, and it's how you are here to live. So live your life. Be that leader. And it's a game over. Evil has no chance because you are so much more powerful. It only takes you as someone in your center owning your power, commanding your destiny. And you can stop all of the legions of evil, which have no power and never did. You're not feeding them your power or it's your power, the beast, and it's impotent, it's helpless, it's worthless because it always has been. It was always relying on trickery, deception, deceit. Now it's not working on you because you're owning your power, keeping your power within, and you're connected with God, and you're shining your light as brightly as the sun and as brightly as 10,000 galaxies. And this is where you are creating your life and how we are creating our world, centered in called huevos, peace, unity, love, prosperity, wealth, abundance, and being of service. Called huevos. You're making as much of a difference as you can to as many people as you can. And this is the greatest thing humanity has ever done. And this is happening through you doing this now yourself, right here. All of this through leagueofsovereigns.com. So join us there yourself and then actively lead, inspire, transform, and liberate all of your online friends, making sure that they are then joining us through your Freedom Money link at leagueofsovereigns.com and leading, inspiring, transforming, and liberating every one of their online friends the same way, where your 12,000 people getting their 12,000 people, and that 144 million of us group is getting the balance of every human alive today, which is like 57, 58 people. And all 8 billion of us are healthy, wealthy, sovereign, and free because of the gift you are, and you owning your power and commanding your destiny. Any questions about any of this? We're doing this together through leagueofsovereigns.com. Make sure that you're following me, subscribed to this podcast or this channel. Make sure you like this video or this podcast. Comment on what was most important in here for you and how did you hear those words when you saw that Jesus said, "Arise." And that was a command to you to wake up to your power and not squander it, to live your purpose and not play small ever again. That was the most important message that you have ever heard, right? And now that was the shift, the breakthrough moment of your life. And now you're never playing small again. Now you're never doubting yourself or living in scarcity, fear, lack mindset anymore. Right, right, right. Affirm that. Post your thoughts about that below here. And now lead, inspire, transform, and liberate all your online friends into being that inspired leader of all of their online friends. Seeing, knowing that this is your greatest gift to the world, the fact that all 8 billion of us are healthy, wealthy, sovereign, and free because of you. Being that person, that leader, you are God's instrument for miracles, after all, that the world needs. As we are all working together as our human family, creating the world we require. Thank you very much. I love you. I believe in you. I know how much you matter. And I'm grateful for you seeing that yourself and living your divine design, duty, destiny, dharma. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.